got some unfortunate news for Chicago White Sox center fielder Luis Robert. He'll be out for 12 to 16 weeks with a right hip flexor tear. So if I'm doing my math correctly, 12 to 16 weeks is at least 3 to 4 months. So you're going to be missing him for quite some time, which is pretty deep into the season. So if I'm doing my estimation correctly, I think the next time he'll see the field is September. If they that is if they're actually doing better the season later on at that time, there's still a lot of baseball left to be played. So that will probably be the next time you see him at maximum. Um, so basically, what ended up happening is he was running up the first baseline, and before he hit first base, you can kind of tell that he was. I actually seen a video on it. You can kind of tell he was like limping, so it was like something wrong right then and there. And then when his foot hit the bag, he ended up hopping on 1 foot on his left leg off first base towards the outfield, and he fell and he started screaming out in pain. So it looked pretty painful, Mario. And I have a quote from General Manager Rick Hahn. He said in that quote, "Those options include surgical repair if in fact the tear has affected the tendons attachment to the bone, or a rehabilitation process in which natural healing will take place if the tear is to the muscle, as opposed to the attachment. The timeline is the same, whether there's a surgical intervention or rest and rehabilitation. The setback put us back to square one in terms of his return. He is trending in the right direction, but we are currently 3 weeks away from Adam being a rehabilitation assignment. It's difficult and not how any team draws things up. So basically, he expects, whether it's a surgery process or a rehabilitation process, that he recovers within the same exact timeline. So before I pass on to you, Mario, the article was written by Jesse Rogers, who is an ESPN staff writer. So I'll let you start off first. What do you think of Luis Robert being out for 12 to 16 weeks?
First of all, I wish him a speedy recovery, and I hope that it doesn't get to surgery. I hope that it gets to rehabilitation because even though the timeline's going to be the same, I'd prefer rehabilitation over surgery any day. So hopefully it's just rehabilitation. Going back to the White Sox, they said that they are going to, that Hahn is most likely expecting to replace Luis Robert with Lurie Garcia or Billy Hamilton. And yeah, Nate, it has been piled with very important injuries. You got Eloy Jimenez before the season started. He got hurt, and then again, you look at Adam Engel. Again, he had a hamstring strain, but his recovery has been slow. So it really is unfortunate for the White Sox, and they are losing depth. So it could really be big trouble for them if it gets to like another injury. And I hope it doesn't because I don't want to see anybody hurt. But I mean, when you look at Luis Robert and his stats this year, he was doing pretty good, Nate. I mean, he only had one homer, but he had a 316 batting average. He had four stolen bases, eight RBIs. So he was doing pretty good. He was a good contributing factor to the Chicago White Sox. It's just really unfortunate, Nate. It really is. And again, I do wish him a full and speedy recovery. Again, it's probably going to take 3 to 4 months. Like you said, September is most likely around the time he might come back. But again, that type of injury, again, I never had it, so I don't know what it feels like. But again, tell him by his reaction, it probably, again, he was really in pain. So it really is unfortunate to see a player like that in pain. Injuries are part of the game, but you never want to see somebody like really get hurt. So with that being said, I do wish Luis Robert the best of luck, and I wish the Chicago White Sox the best of luck during his absence.
Right, best of luck to Luis Robert. I wish for him a speedy recovery. Yeah, Mario, the start of the White Sox season isn't what we expected. They lost their first they lost their first, I think it was two series or something like that. Then they started turning the tide. Same thing with the Red Sox. Nobody expected the Sox to do that, and then they ended up going on a tear. Same thing with the White Sox. They didn't. They're second in their division. The Royals, surprisingly, for some reason, are a good team, but hey, who am I to judge? So,
Because of Patrick
what
Mahomes.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, in fact, they got the Patrick Mahomes Midas touch. But look, obviously Luis Robert not being there is going to be a big deal. Eloy Jimenez, when the season first started without Eloy Jimenez, to me, it was like, yeah, they need this guy because I think they lost a 4 game series to the Angels to start the season. So that way, they lost 3 out of 4. So, obviously that's not how you want to start your season, and that was just my biggest factor, you're missing Eloy Jimenez. Now you're missing him and Luis Robert. The White Sox, obviously what we always say, next man up, you gotta survive. That's what you gotta do. And he's gonna be out for a long time, so you gotta survive for that time before he can come back and play some productive baseball. So that's really all you can do. So it's the best you can do. The AL Central is struggling, so they can take that to their advantage. Except for the Patrick Mahomes touch Royals, damn gold. They got that gold touch. Aside from that, the rest of the division hasn't really been doing that good, so they can take that to their advantage. So hopefully they improvise and they work things out. Next man up, survive. That's what we always say. So with that being said, best of luck to Luis Robert, and yeah, I can't wait to see what's going to happen moving forward.